Oh, now it's recording.
Mhm.
Okay, good day, everyone. Today, in the series of podcasts with Integrity Project of Nazarbayev University, we have very successful student, an individual, Meruyert, who used to be a student of Nazarbayev University and now studying at the University of Pennsylvania. To know more about Meruyert, first of all, welcome, Meruyert. Thank you very much again for accepting our invitation. Could you please introduce yourself for our audience?
Okay, so as already was mentioned, my name is Meruyert, and I'm Nazarbayev University alumni. I graduated with biological sciences, bachelor degree this year, and now I already started my graduate journey in University of Pennsylvania in Masters of Education in Teaching, Learning, and Leadership, the concentration educational leadership.
Nice. So as far as I know, Merwar, about you, that during your studies, you were not only very active and very, outstanding in terms of your academic life, which you had 4 out of 4 most of the time, right? You have been also very active socially. I mean, you were in student clubs and student
Mhm.
government, so on and so forth. How do you think a successful individual can balance between their social life and academic life? What are the key, successful aspects of this one?
Mhm. I think that first of all, being able to set right priorities, and I think that is a simple formula. And the second is, I think being able to, I think it's the first one is being passionate about what you are doing. For example, I was involved in mostly when it comes to extracurricular activities, I was mostly involved in the academic advising office, the Ministry of Education, like in teaching and learning committee, in academic council, because it was something that I was able to dedicate myself. And honestly, while I was involved in extracurricular activities, I didn't treat it as something that's just like just spending my time outside of the studies, but instead I tried to gain professional experience while being involved in this. Therefore, I think being able to see the importance of what you are doing, and it can be inside of your academic studies or it can be outside. I think that's the basic formula. And the third one, when it comes to study, I think I never ever treated this education as a burden, and I try to enjoy my studies.
Nice, nice. What do you think? What are some of the positive points about being socially active?
Mhm,
Like apart from, it's not like always good to focus on your studies. Of course, it's good
mhm,
to focus to prioritize your studies more than everything else, but it's also good to be socially active, which you were,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
What do you think? What are some of the positive aspects or plus points about being socially active apart from being, academically good?
mhm. I think the first of all, uh, like when you are interacting with people, when you are involved in many club activities, you will go out of your comfort zone. And when you are out of your comfort zone, you will face a lot of challenges. And this basically, with solving the challenges, you'll learn a lot of soft and hard skills. And what is really, I mean, of course, in study, they will prepare you to be professional in your field. But if you are dedicating your time to professional or social life, it will prepare you to be skilled in real life, where you have to actually interact with people, especially when it comes to job or workforce. You will have to interact with people. You have to work in a team, and that's basically the skills you can gain only outside of like academic studies.
Nice. I'm just curious personally, what was your main motivation to be socially active? Like, of course, for the main motivation to be academically very good is, to pursue, and as far as I know, you want to be professor, right? So we
Yeah.
can call you Professor Merritt beforehand. What was the main motivation before you are like being socially active?
Mhm. Well, I think a lot of students probably notice it when I was involved in some like clubs. Basically, the clubs mostly, the aim of these clubs was helping people, like helping students, advocating for students, conveying the students' perspective administration. So, uh, the simple academic advising office or conferences that I was participating, it was always like about helping people, and therefore, I think the first of all, my first like social activity. It was during the first like year when I was freshman. It was a CDF club, Social Development Foundation Club, where I was serving as a math teacher in the second year when I got into military education during the COVID time. And I was really wanted to be the part of something that I can really help the community. And it was the main motivation. And I honestly never ever like tried to seek for benefit. And I do know some students who try to get experience just because to have some point in their CV, in their resume, and so that like eventually they can apply for grad schools, for example, and to have high chances. In my case, it was my motivation, and just being something, being the part of something, just to tell, well, look, I was a part of something, and you eventually will not learn anything from that. And I think the main motivation should be you really desire to join some clubs or to help people.
Nice, nice. I didn't know about the CDF and other things. I only knew about student government.
Mhm.
So can you please tell, like specifically, in what socially active clubs you have been involved during your studies at Nazarbayev University, like CDF, student government, if you can, list them.
Okay, during the first year, during the first year, actually, I was a part of piano club. I really learned to play on piano, and I was a part. I mean, till COVID. And as a second, I was involved in Children's Development Foundation as a like mentor, and I think later during my second year. By the way, I was also part during my freshman year. I was a part of like three clubs, and third one was Kazakhstan Academy. And I think now the club became organization, non-profit organization. And during the second year, well, like when there was a pandemic, I decided to join their Ministry of Education student government, and I was vice minister during my second year. And during the third year, I was a minister of. And I think during the third year, I was part of IGM. It is International Genetically Engineered Machine competition. It is also a club dedicated for synthetic biology, and also the part of Ministry of Education. And during the fourth year, I was a part of academic advising office. Yes.
Nice, nice, nice. Um, what is the one thing that you have learned from all your experience of different
Mhm,
class and student
mhm,
government? What is one very significant thing which you think
mhm,
helped you for your application in University of Pennsylvania or many other
mhm,
applications which you submitted and got like accepted, right? So what is the one thing which you really learned and helped you
mhm.
forward?
Well, I basically always tell people that like what I learn is can be like quoted in a way. It is not how much you help people, but it is how much love you put into helping people. I think I'll put in this way. And secondly, actually, probably I had a lot of extracurricular activities. And honestly, I know some students who really wanna follow my linear pathway. I mean, I know some students who always check my LinkedIn just to see my like achievements and to see what I in which clubs I was, and they try to just copy to where like what I was, and they want to get also to grad schools to good university by thinking that well, if they will do the same, they can get into top university. But it is not about like having this linear pathway or copying someone's success. I think it is about how you shape yourself. For example, the same person as me can be involved in many the same extracurricular activities, but it is about how you shape yourself. If I will be like part of student government, I mean, there are a lot of more every year. There are more than 200 students being the part of student government. And if you are just part of something and you are doing nothing, I mean, the skills, the experience will not come to you on their own. You have to take a move. You have to take actions. You yourself have to try to get this all experience as possible. And that's something that I learned. That it's you
Nice,
who
nice.
shape your
So
identity.
nice. Thank you very much, Meruyert. One more question, which is relevant to my last question, and that is there any connection between being socially active and your applications to top universities? Like,
Mhm,
for example, in the University of Pennsylvania and so on and so forth. Is there any connection? Does it
mhm.
help really
I would say
somehow?
that, well, since all university, especially like US university, they use holistic approach. Like it is called holistic approach. So they basically try to take a lot of your application aspect into consideration, and you never know why, for which reason specifically, they decided to accept you. But I think Ivy League universities, they love change makers. They adore someone who really wants to lead change. Instead of complaining, want to take action and to make changes. And I think I was able to present myself as an example of change maker. Like as a person, for example, like during the pandemic time when we were introducing pass fail grading. And it was one of the demonstrations that I really like did something to change the situation the students were facing at the time. So I think that's what actually helped.
Nice. So, what is one very interesting story of you being involved in social activities on campus? What is one of the very interesting story that you have in
So
your mind?
well, actually, like since I spent like 1 year that was online, like I didn't have specifically like interesting story, but I do remember that actually like student government or such as clubs, it is not official work. It is something that students just do just to enjoy and just to help again people. And I do remember that I never ever took the courses at 9 or 6, 7 a.m. But since we all during online, we all of our members of MOE had time conflict, we decided to put the meeting time at 9 a.m. And during the pandemic, with my city's time, it was 8 a.m. And I never ever wake up for my courses, but I did wake up for attending the meeting of MOE. It's so surprised. I don't know. We had chance to choose another time frame, but we all chose this 8 a.m. in the morning. Yes.
Nice. As I saw recently that you're also you became a member of student government or something at the University of Pennsylvania, right?
So it is called GAPSA, GAPSA ISA. It is GAPSA, basically abbreviated for Graduate and Professional Student Assembly. In ISA, it is International Students Affairs Committee. So I became the member of this International Student Affairs Committee with different, and I'm working with different members from different countries. It's true. And now I became the student representative in academic, like University Council, Honorary Degree Committee.
Nice. So you just want to help people through any ways
Yes,
possible, right? Nice. That's
yes.
good inspiration. So if I ask another very good question relevant to like balancing, because our topic is balancing social life with academic life, what is your personal secret behind this? Like, how do you balance your own social and academic life?
Like I think when you ask these people, basically the successful people, they will say, "Well, it is hard," and I would say also like it is hard. Like there is no. I'm not a robot. I'm a human being, of course, and sometimes I also want to sleep. I mean, there was a cases when I was late to the meetings, like for 10 minutes of being late, and actually it's really really hard. But I really try to like spend time more wisely and because I know that sometimes there can be there like cases where you try to like spend time on hanging out outside. But for now, I do know that like I have full of energy, and I really want to spend a time on something that I find more meaningful.
Nice. So, putting all your experiences and knowledge, how do you define a successful student?
I think, well, of course, people's definition will vary for successful student, but in my case, is successful student is a person who knows what he or she wants and knows what she really like wants and passionate about and try to use all tools to get like your dream come true. I think that's and it is not about trying to seek someone's like trying to align with someone's expectation, but instead try to make your own dream come true. Yes, and it is
Nice.
already a success for you. I mean, like if I see someone who is probably not successful in front of a lot of people, but if she is happy and she knew and she got accepted to, I don't know, a really good university she really wanted or dream about, she is already successful in her vision, on her own.
Nice. So, as you know, I have also been a little bit of active at Nazarbayev University socially. So, what it gave me really was in terms of connection. I got to know a lot of people in terms of learning new skills, management, leadership, and so on and so forth. So, what are the some of the things which you really, which like being active socially at Nazarbayev University really give you, like in terms of connections, who you got to know through your like social life, in terms of learning new skills, what specific skills you learn, if you can share.
Well, actually, when before I interested in you, I always hesitated to talk to administration members. I mean, it was really like I couldn't imagine to talk to someone who's actually responsible for delegating the tasks on a higher level, like on university level or provost level. But like when I work at in a lot of councils and committee works, I get a chance to direct to speak, even to get closer to like vice provost for academic affairs, even for Provost Edesira. He is now president of the university, and I just realized that they are just simple human beings. Sometimes they can be also not confident in themselves. For example, I mean, they also have their own concern. At the end of the day, they're just it's the same human being as you, and if they was able to do this, it means you can also do what they are doing. And maybe I think Provost, like Vice Provost for Academic Affairs, Lydia O'Donnell, she really served as a role model for me to get to like higher education administration. That's basically what I'm doing right now, and it's like I would say she was a part of my dream, and that's
Yeah,
what she gave me.
yeah. Nowadays, I used to see her, and she always tells about you. Sometimes that Meruyert was one of the contacts from students, which indeed you are. So now we talk a lot about social life, and I also know, as I in the beginning said, that you had a very good academic grade, and also I believe that you have when currently in University of Pennsylvania. So what's some of the things which you recommend for students to consider while balancing their social and academic life?
Um, well, that is really hard actually. Like for example, you should. I think the main advice will be you should make sacrifice, and it is really true. Without sacrificing, trying to hang out with your friends at the same time, getting really good grades, competitive grades, and at the same time being the socially active or leader of the club, it is really hard. And you should sacrifice, I don't know, your health or mental health as well. And of course, sometimes I think every time when I just became one step too closer to giving up, I always remind myself the reason why I just have to start everything. And I think that really helps me. And then secondly, when it comes to study, for example, if professor gives a task and their maximum point is 100%, I really, really try and put my every effort just to get this 100%. And I never ever aim for lower grade. I think you have to aim higher, like in not only studies, but also in executive activities. In your dreams, I always say people dream higher.
Nice. Is there anything that you regret doing or not doing during your
Mm.
study at Nazarbayev University?
Honestly, do you know that I never ever attended gym and I never attended their swimming pool at AU.
Oh,
I never ever attended swimming pool. It is something that I still regret about. I never
do you know
attended.
the location? Do you know the location of the swimming pool on campus?
Yeah, I do know. I mean, I was attending gym, but I never attended swimming pool. And then later, well, when I decided to attend, like in the middle of their like July for alumni students, it became so expensive. And yeah, I wasn't able to afford it.
Right.
That's something that I regret about.
Mhm. So the last question probably during I mean you also studied online, right? During COVID
Yeah,
19. During COVID 19, how did you balance your study and academic life? I mean your social and academic life. Did you do something socially as well, or it
yeah.
was only focusing on academic things? And I mean in terms of this one, I also want to ask that how technology can help students, to balance their
Mhm.
academic and social life.
Mhm. Well, honestly, doing online, like in order to survive online courses with really good grades, you should be self-learner. I mean, uh, I know that some students really expected professors or teachers to give the knowledge, full knowledge. But I mean, if like when it comes to me, I never ever like relied on my professors. When I was assigned a task, I tried to create and grasp a concept on my own because it is again my responsibility and it's how I viewed it. And I think that's what it helped me. But however, during online, I was a part of MOE. Like we had a lot of Zoom meetings. I was a part of like academic council and learning teaching committee as well. There are future learning working group and task forces. And actually, yeah, I tried to communicate with people during Zoom as well, and that's really what helped me. And um, I think regarding the third point, the your technology, of course, technology will help, especially now irrigation technology major is getting. I mean, I also get accepted to learning sciences and technologies like major. It's really popular, and it's gonna be innovative in the future as well. And I think it is something that will have more impact in the future as well.
Yeah, right. So we have, since we have a few more minutes, I want to ask a few questions if you don't mind, Mira. Nowadays, if you, I mean, as you know that there are a lot of things which distract students. Students want to enjoy,
Mm,
have fun and so on and so forth. How do you think? How do you recommend for students, to stay focused on their studies, at
mm,
the same time be socially active in a way that can help them for their future career and so on and so forth. How do you recommend? How do you recommend them to stay focused?
mhm. Well, actually, nowadays it's really, really hard because, well, we have a lot of social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and I know it's literally hard, even getting harder for me as well. And I think it's deleting the Instagram and app, trying to, for example, in my case, I already downloaded that app, special app. It always, every day in there, like in the end of the day, it will show like how much time you spend on using like your phone, and it will compare your previous time. And like, for example, today, if you'll see that I spent it my like times 3 times more on social media, and it will be kind of serve as a lesson that I shouldn't focus on that. And I think downloading app and trying to you should force yourself try to focus. And I think deleting and trying to speak people in person instead of speaking people like online probably will help. For example, I have one more like here I have two friends, and every time when I text them, they request me to have coffee or like meeting time, like have lunch together instead of just communicating during WhatsApp or Zoom. And
Nice.
it's probably
So I'm just curious, were you doing only like were you being active at student government or student clubs, or at the same time being academically active? Apart from these two, did you do something else? Like for example, go to the gym or something personal for having fun? Did you do something like this? Like what was your main fun activities?
well, basically like what you were telling is probably hobby, and like besides like those are being the part of student government on besides academic studies, I always try to listen podcasts, and it's something I really really enjoy. Like in Europe there are a lot of motivation and educational podcasts where popular people share their advices or like share their our personal life, and that's what I really enjoy sitting and eating and at the same time listening to this podcast. It really helps me.
Nice. So what are some of the your habits which you have been keep doing since your first year of at Nazarbayev University, and you're still doing it? What are some of your daily habits which you
Mm,
enjoy doing and you really every day do it?
Actually, I think honestly, I don't have daily habits. Like
Oh,
honestly, I
so
don't
you are
have.
flexible.
Yes. Hmm?
So you are flexible.
I really honestly, I always tell people like I'm flexible. Like every time people offer the time, I always say, well, like you can go ahead and try to choose a time that will work for you because I'm flexible enough. And I never ever had specific daily routine, and it's really flexible and it can change. And actually, I wouldn't say it's a good thing. It's better to have more like understandable, predictable daily routine instead of just jumping and running from something to specific event. And every time since I'm flexible and like my plans can change at any time, and that's also one more disadvantage I would say.
Nice. So my last two questions. Number one, how do you define Meruyert in one word?
That's so good. Question. Ambitious.
Ambitious. Nice. I knew this actually. So last question is how actually I already asked this question, but again I want to ask to wrap up our session today. What are your some of practical recommendations based on your knowledge and experiences for
Mhm,
current students who really wants to be like you, who
mhm,
really wants to be ambitious? I mean, get into the top universities in the world and so on and so forth. And
mhm,
I mean, given the fact that you are in the United States, more broader perspective of being a student, and so if you can give some of your
mhm,
recommendations, practical recommendations for
mhm,
students, specifically at Nazarbayev University.
mhm. Wait, I think the first advice will be, guys, always try. I think you never know until you try. I mean, you should try to go once again out of comfort zone. And I think that when you see that it's something that will challenge you, something that you are afraid to try, it means you have to go this. You have to go and you should try. Because if you are a little afraid of to do this, it means it will help your new skills. So that when after like every time, for example, when I try something, I will realize that well, it wasn't so. I don't know why I was afraid. It's a simple thing, and it was something that I was always hesitated to do. The same, I think, in this way, you will realize that actually the world, like the life, is not complicated. I mean, it's just simple. It is we who actually make it difficult, and just like try to view the life as a simple thing. And I think try to create your own regulation in your own rule, like instead of just following someone's rule and regulation. Like it is your own life. And once again, the second advice will be every person has own set of priorities. Every person has own dreams. And never ever try to copy someone's dreams. Or never ever tell someone like, well, something you're dreaming is not like it is like not worth considering. It is not. I mean, every person has their own value of dreams, and therefore try to find your own passion, what motivates you, and what is your dream is about. And of course, make your dream come true.
Nice, nice. Thank you very much, Meruyert, for your time, for your amazing insights. It's really nice to see you again online.
Mhm.
And I wish you best of luck in the future. And I know, and I'm 100% sure that one day you are in fact a role model. You will be a better, more, role model for not only Kazakhstanis but for the world, hopefully. And it has been a pleasure for me to get to know you. One of the things which I got was getting to know you and other successful students. So thank you very much, Maria.
Thank you so much for inviting. It's highly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you again, and have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.